apologize in advance for two things. One, I tend to go a little serious. It kind of comes with the nature of being a retired senior non-commissioned officer in the Army. And two, for not looking my age. When I was 18 in the Army and I looked like I was 12, I always got made fun of for wearing my dad's uniform. I couldn't get a date to save my life. So there's my comedic relief to begin with. So my name is Michael King, and I have the honor of speaking to you tonight. We're here to honor our newest generation of veterans. However, I want to thank Dumercindo Gomez, the Executive Director of the Bilingual Veterans Outreach Centers of Massachusetts, for allowing me the opportunity to be a case manager, run a Veteran Outreach Center, and to speak tonight. I also want to thank everyone for your attendance tonight, because your presence here is leadership in action. It demonstrates the importance you place on veterans, their families, and the issues that we face. My thanks continue to all the veterans of the Armed Forces who told Uncle Sam that he could do whatever he wanted with them. All of you paved the way for my generation of veterans. The challenges, sacrifices, and travesties that you endured are the reason that there's a better appreciation for American warfighters today than in the years past. Just as warriors and warfare evolve over time, the ways we care for veterans must evolve. While I spend my days helping veterans of all generations receive care and benefits from the VA, I don't want that to be my focus. I want to talk about the strength and resolve of America's youngest veterans. I had the honor of serving for 21 years in the United States Army. As an added bonus, I retired at the rank of Sergeant Major. I've served with amazing women and men in the most austere conditions. Allow me to share a couple of war stories with you. On January 20th, 2007, I was a platoon sergeant for 3rd Platoon of the 127th Military Police Company, conducting police transition team operations in the city of Karbala, Iraq. With 29 American soldiers in the city during a pilgrimage in which millions fled to the city, our closest support was no less than 30 minutes away. Needless to say, the enemy exploited this weakness and attacked us. As a result of the attack, 1 soldier was killed in action, 4 were kidnapped and later executed, and 3 were severely injured. My medic, Specialist Jason Crosby, is a man that I will always hold in the highest regard. When the attack occurred, he could not get to the designated casualty collection point where his medical kit was because our movements were restricted by superior firepower. The scene is tough to describe as it was hell. However, I guided him through rubble, smoke, and live sparking electrical wires hanging from the ceiling to the wounded soldiers. Being worth his weight in gold, he ignored his emotions, the continued explosions, and the bullets ripping through and into the building. Specialist Crosby focused on the life-saving skills necessary to prevent any further loss of life. His ability to focus at the moment of truth is truly amazing. He created bandages and cravats from a uniform to treat the wounds and save the lives of the three severely injured soldiers. Today, he runs a gym in northern Vermont and is raising his 2 young boys. We were able to get a medevac helicopter to land under fire and get the 3 injured soldiers and 1 KIA out of the fight. There's much more to this part of the story, but I'll leave that for another time. I want to talk about the resilience of 1 soldier in particular. Sergeant Jesse Hernandez was one of my go-to guys in the platoon. He was injured in the initial attack where shrapnel ripped through his abdomen, lodged in his spine, and shattered his forearm. After many surgeries, doctors told him he would never run or be able to do push-ups again. In other words, they told him his career was over. The deck was stacked against him. However, he wasn't one to accept that as his fate. Sergeant Hernandez sought a second opinion from a doctor outside the military medical system. He asked to have the shrapnel removed from his spine. They did so, and he went through grueling physical therapy. He was so determined to beat the injuries that he would go on to become a drill sergeant. To be a drill sergeant, for those who don't know, you must be able to exceed the basic Army physical fitness standards, which are push-ups, sit-ups, and a 2-mile run. So he did that. He went through and became a drill sergeant. And as of a few days ago, he's actually on his way to, he just landed in Korea for a new assignment. But prior to that, he was the first sergeant of the 410th Military Police Company in Fort Hood, Texas, where his family is right now. These 2 men are just a couple of my heroes. I can tell story after story of the men and women who put their lives on the line for our country. George Orwell may have said it best. He said, we sleep safely in our beds because rough men stand ready in the night to visit violence on those who would do us harm. This holds true with one exception. both men and women commit themselves to face violence on our behalf. This leads me to a second war story. On my second combat deployment to Iraq, I was a first sergeant in charge of 179 soldiers in 3 different cities. I was approached by a Delta Force team leader inquiring if I had a female soldier I could loan his team and a platoon of Rangers to help with searching any women they encountered during their kinetic operations. During my service, I have worked with some amazing women who could run me into the dirt and dedication that could not be equaled. I had the perfect candidate on my roster. Then Private First Class Nicole Gray embodied the warrior spirit and was the soldier for the job. She consistently outperformed her male peers. Within 24 hours, she was working with the U.S. Army's elite Rangers at a time when women were not yet allowed to be members of those units. While the rest of my unit was mentoring Iraqi police, she was conducting raids against known and suspected insurgents. Today, she applies her indefatigable tenacity to raising her 2 young sons. What all these veterans have in common is ownership. Each of them owns their life and destiny. It's easy to lay blame for our situations and problems on others. However, I find that many of the new generation of veterans are not willing to blame others. They take ownership of their situations and find ways to improve their foxholes. These women and men placed their lives at significant risk for the benefit of our country. We need to stand ready to help those veterans and their families, and that's what I do every day. In closing, I want to simplify something. The oath of enlistment isn't very long, but it can be summed up in a statement from the warfighter to the American citizen: I will die for you. Let me reiterate that. Every woman and man who joined a branch of the armed forces said, I will die for you. The least we can do is make them feel welcome in the country they fought for. Thank you.